What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another 101. Tonight's topic is dating 101, the fuckboy phenomenon. Let me tell y'all, we have all dealt with fuckboys. I'm just going to keep it real. Somebody who didn't want to do right, couldn't do right, wouldn't do right, or just an asshole in general. We have all dealt with fuckboys. And so tonight, y'all, my special guest, so I like to call them, special instructors, is going to be Mr. Justin Rayne. You guys know him from Triangle. He's an amazing actor. He also has his own podcast called Fuckboi Problems. I was recently on there myself. Please go out and go ahead and check that out today. The link is in my bio and it's in his too. So check that out. I'm about to have Justin on now. Trying to let a few more of y'all jump on, and we about to get in this because we got some stuff to talk about. I like my glasses. I'm rocking today. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Let me just back up a little bit, push this back some, so
Right, let me push it back so y'all can get into the vision.
Yeah, so people can see my little man bun. I decided to be a little Cinderella-ish and wear my hair up today. You know what I'm saying?
All right, come on. You better play with the people. You better give them a little something, something.
I'm trying to. You know what I mean?
All right, let's see.
I was playing my nephew earlier today. He shot a little lemon juice in my eye, so she's a little red, so I didn't want to be on camera.
Not lemon juice. No one can even tell, buddy. No one can even tell.
Well, that's good. That's good. So, we're going to jump into it, y'all. Let me tell y'all, tonight's topic again, and I was talking about this a little bit before y'all got on, is Dating 101, the fuckboy phenomenon. My special guest tonight, y'all, is Mr. Justin Rayne. Justin has a whole podcast, the Fuckboi Problems, that was talking about this. I was so intrigued by the title. Oh, he got the shirt on. I got to get a shirt on.
Yeah, get the merch. Get the merch.
Definitely, I'm going to buy the merch. Y'all make sure y'all do that. You guys can actually hear the podcast that I was on recently, which is Fuckboi Problems. Justin hosted in his platform. You guys can click the link in his bio or mine, and it will pop right up, okay? Make sure you support, like,
yes, subscribe.
But we are going to get into it.
Let's go.
Please give me your definition of a fuckboy.
Oh, okay. Master manipulator. That's probably like the biggest things. I think fuckboy is my definition of fuckboy is just someone who operates with themselves first. Their own goals, their own initiatives, their own desires. Whether that be, okay, hey, I am not in an emotional place to have a relationship, but I want someone who will give me their emotions, also give me their sex, give me their money, give me their time, and I can just present them with whatever they need, and I can just walk away with all their parts and not give away any of my heart. That's usually how fuckboy works, They always have a goal in mind. And also a big thing with fuckboys are their runners. Fuckboys are usually always running from something, whether it be their own issues, whether it be growing up, whether it be addressing your own professional issues, whether it be healing from some things that you haven't. So you rather hop from relationship to relationship to relationship or bed to bed to bed to avoid actually healing from whatever damage that you have. And what a lot of people don't understand is a fuckboy is just a boy that has not taken the time to heal and become a man. That's really all it is.
Listen, I'm here for that. That's a very good definition.
I'm a specialist. I'm Mr. Fuckboi Problems.
When you said what you described sounds like when Iyanla said on her show when she called it meth addict, she said, "You are a master manipulator." Like,
oh, God. Not a meth.
That's exactly what I feel like that is, master manipulation. And people are trying to say, well, you're letting people manipulate. You're letting them do that to you. Nobody lets anybody do something to them. People are human and they naturally react to being hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's give people some grace. Let's give them the space to heal and actually feel a little bit. Their feelings are hurt. So let me tell y'all something about fuckboys. Well, I'm gonna give y'all the Urban Dictionary, the good one.
Oh, God.
The Urban Dictionary.
I'm ready to hear this.
What's going on with the fuckboy? It says the fuckboy, a guy who will tell a girl anything to get them to hook up with them. A complete jerk who flirts with multiple girls at a time and makes them all believe they're individually special. They tell a girl they like them and act like they're in love so they can get them out of it, like pictures, so they can get something out of it, like pictures, hooking up, sex, etc.
There's always a motive.
Someone who should not be trusted and is the reason for a lot of people's trust issues. Don't fuck with a fuckboy. Whew. Let me tell y'all something. The only thing they didn't get right is fuckboys go across sexual orientations. They're gay, they're straight fuckboys. They're transgender fuckboys. They're all fuckboys. They're jerks. They are trying to use people. They are being vicious and malicious, and we need to stop it. So the thing about the phenomenon, I said it's the fuckboy phenomenon because it's like it's just so many people that fall into that category. I actually can name 5 offhand, but I'm not messy like that.
Call them out, Drago.
Listen, look, they won't get no clout off my name, not over here. My clout, but it ain't free. But the thing about it is, the reason I want to talk about fuckboys is because it's a culture of dating now that has become so toxic that almost nobody wants to date. People think of dating and they immediately start to get apprehensive. They backing up. They moving back. Can't we just be friends? Can't we just go with the flow and stuff like that? All of these are coded and coming from the phrase of, I don't want to say we're dating because I don't want to get hurt and I don't want to get disappointed. I'd rather label it something else, even though we're doing all the same things that people who are dating do. Thank you, Chardonnay, for buying the first badge. You guys purchase a badge. Support the content if that's what you want to see.
Yes, purchase the badges.
All these people who want to date, who want something real and don't want to label it as what it is because they've met some fuckboy or it was some fuck girl or whatnot, because there's some females who do the same thing. There's more y'all rising too.
Listen to season 1 and season 2. We got girls on there too. We have lesbians.
Oh, you have girls on there too?
Yeah, we have lesbians. We have transgender people. We have I call them fuck people. Anyone can be a fuckboy. Fuckboy is just a term, like a slang term. Just so you can call anyone a bitch. It's just a slang term. Fuckboy does not have any gender attached to it because anyone, if you can breathe, if you have emotions, if you can think to hurt someone. You can think to put yourself before someone else.
Tell me your experience with a fuckboy, the one that actually probably inspired you to do this whole situation.
Oh, see, we have to flip this. I'm actually the fuckboy. So I would tell everyone to go listen to Mr. Fuckboy Problems. It's the finale episode 20 of season 2 of my podcast, Fuckboy Problems. And you'll actually get to hear my story. Basically, I was that person walking around being a fuckboy, hurting people. I was actually in a relationship with someone who I was uber in love with. And, you make choices. And, niggas cheat, people make choices, people don't heal. So I was actually running from things that I was going through in the background, but I wasn't disclosing it and being transparent with him, nor even being transparent with myself. And until I really lost him and was trying to get myself together and started going to therapy and healing, etc., that was when really I was like, okay, let me put a mirror to myself. Let me look at myself and be like, okay, do you like who you see? Do you like how you're walking through life? Because a lot of times the drama and etc. Because with a fuckboy, as soon as reality starts to set in their situation, they're out.
Yeah.
It's all about the fantasy. If you cannot keep that fantasy and that situation locked in, then a fuckboy is going to be out. If you start catching on to the stuff, and a lot of times fuckboy stories have holes. Look for the holes, people. Fuckboys are like Swiss cheese. Okay? Look for the holes. If you can find one, then that's probably a fuckboy. That's a telltale sign. I'm just going to keep it honest with you guys. But yeah, it was from my own mistakes, me learning my lessons, and me wanting to also hold myself accountable, honestly. Because what do I look like walking around with a podcast called Fuckboy Problems? And I'm still going around here being a fuckboy.
Wow.
But I also, keep it real, every season 1, we were not feeling. Season 2, we were trying to deal. We made a few mistakes.
Okay.
And season 3, we're healing. Now that means that, hey, you got to be transparent. When you mess up, you got to hold yourself accountable. But that, hey, give yourself grace as well, fuckboys. You don't have to be a fuckboy forever. Have you ever heard "Don't Want to Be a Player No More"? That's where the theme song from the first 2 seasons came from. Me and my desire to not want to do that anymore. And all it takes is a desire to grow, heal, and be a better person. If you want to change, you'll change for yourself.
Let me say, you just said a mouthful. I love how you broke the seasons up, and it shows your transition into healing. This season, you said it's healing. For the last year, that's kind of what I've been on, a healing journey. Being vulnerable and open up to show the more beautiful parts of myself. And so with my experience with Fuckboy, you guys can actually listen to the latest episode where I opened up season 3. Yay me.
You've been dragging the people.
They've
been talking about they love it.
I'm glad they love it. But I actually went back and listened to it. Me and my sister was listening to it this morning, and she was just like, we went to breakfast with him. She was like, I just saw him the other day, get ready to get into somebody's Lyft or Uber or something like that. She said, I just want to throw grits on him. I was like, girl, we're not going to throw no grits.
Not throwing grits? What is this, Medea?
Listen, look, my family, let me tell you something my aunt told me. She said that broken cars mean broken hearts. That should tell you to move, okay? And I was almost indoctrinated into that. And so what I decided to do with this situation is, y'all, because like I said, this happened to me actually last year in September. So it's been a little over a year since I had my fuckboy situation. It wasn't my first one, but it was definitely the one that redefined how I move, date, and deal with people on a grand level. Like for real, it definitely changed my life. How do I feel about him now? I don't like him. He's not one of
I
my favorite.
need you to tell them the phrase that you told me, or I'll say it for you. Michael said he felt like there was shrapnel in his heart. And when I tell you all, I cried.
Yeah, I did. And
Yeah.
it's still something there. There are still some pieces there. I've seen him out and about before, and every time I see him, it's like this twinge where I'm kind of like, why was I so stupid?
But you
Why,
want to know something? There's someone that does that same thing to him, and that's how he ended up being who he is. No one is born a fuckboy.
Oh
I
no,
always like to
he
use this
told me. He told
euphemism.
me about his fuckboy situation.
No one is born a villain. Have y'all
No
never seen
one
Once
is
Upon a Time? No one is born a villain. No one wakes up with evil in their heart. You have to go through something, and that transforms you, and it's your decision how you decide to respond to that negative situation, to that experience. Will it transform you for the better? Will it transform you for the worse? And you also have opportunity to change who you are. Every day is an opportunity to change how you walk through life and how you deal with people and how you allow your actions and your decisions to affect the people in your life.
Here. No, you're absolutely right about that. It just really sucks, especially when you know somebody that's gone through a fuckboy situation themselves. You would think that they wouldn't be one. They turn around to be one. Like, you didn't take no time to heal and learn from that situation to not put somebody in the same situation that you were just in. Why spread this pain that's been inflicted on you? But they, you know what they say, hurt people, and it's tragic. It's sad. I really wish it was. The culture needs therapy.
I mean, yes, a good therapy would be beautiful, but a lot of times people have told themselves that they're healing, but healing does not happen in another person's bed. Healing does not happen through sex. That's not healing, okay, baby? Healing is a one-on-one job, okay? Unless you have a spiritual power or something like that. But still, let me be very clear. Healing is a one-on-one job, and it does not happen with someone else. Healing is not crying to Tamar, talking about if you don't want to love me. Yeah, that's a deep cut. Listen. But yeah, healing does not happen like in those places. Those are stages of grieving. The real healing happens when you're like, hey, this happened. And on my podcast, we always try to do what we call a fuckboy fix, which is an advice or an affirmation or a tip that you can walk with. Okay, the next time I get into this situation, will I honor those red flags? What about myself and my situation that allowed me to see this, know that it maybe wasn't so right, know that maybe, your situation was funny, and I still decided to continue even though I knew that your story had holes. What about myself and my situation that I allowed? Because a lot of times fuckboys also are attracted to people that are vulnerable, people that maybe are healing. A lot of times you'll share like, hey, I just went through this, I went through that. And then they're like, oh, shit. And guess what, baby? There's a shark in the water and you are red meat. Watch out.
Listen, somebody posted something the other day. They said, when someone has done nothing but good to you and you turn around and repay them with evil, be clear that God is watching and you should be very afraid.
Yes, trauma bonding. That's really a lot of times what it is in a different form. It is trauma bonding to a certain degree. And they'll try to tell you like, hey, like I've been through this. I get what you're going through. And a lot of times fuckboys, their big thing is manipulation because they already know how to speak to your pain. They've already been through it. They know how to maneuver it.
But shout out to you being so open and willing to say that I was once a fuckboy and I was doing this to the other people. What is your relationship like?
These girls in the comments can tell you. No, I'm just playing.
No, because somebody did just say something a little while ago, a little further back, but we just
shout out to them. Subscribe to the podcast so you can come on and we can heal together. All the best.
I love
that. That's all I got for that. Good luck.
But what is the nature of your relationship with your ex now? You said that you were like, messing around. Did you two ever get back together or?
Oh, we got back together several times. But no, I think we both moved on. You both can make a decision and be like, okay. Sometimes there's a great quote from the movie Someone Great with Gina Rodriguez, and she says, when glass breaks, sometimes you can put it back together, but sometimes the glass can shatter. And you can't always put glass back together. And that's just a learning lesson that I had to take with myself. And I just have to know for the future. And I did. And everything I did as I walked through the future, I approached every time I got to know someone different. Every first date, was different. I went on, oh my gosh, I went on so many first dates and I never went on a second because I was like, no, this doesn't honor me. This doesn't honor where I want to be. Or this person, I can clearly tell that, they're going to pull a behavior out of me or, we're going to interact in a way that's not healthy. Or wait a second, I see something that ain't right. Or, like I said, they're walking around like Swiss cheese. Their stories had holes. And I was like, I don't need to invite myself into a situation where you're not going to be helping me out. You're actually going to be bringing me down. And you're going to be
Right.
taking me backwards instead of forwards.
It's the accountability for me, and it's
Oh,
the
yeah. That's every in that life,
yeah.
in that everything.
But you know what? A lot of people fear accountability. I tell people accountability feels like an attack where you're not willing to take responsibility to how you hurt somebody else. You have to take the responsibility for that. You don't get to tell that person, "Oh, I didn't hurt you." How dare you?
You see what I said? Yes, you're probably right. I probably did. I don't have anything for that person in the comments. Yeah, I probably did. Yeah, you just can't. You just got to own it.
Somebody said, Kevin Terrell says, "Speak your own truth keeps others from being able to use it."
Amen. And that's why we're not going to have this whole what you did to me. If you say I did it, I'm sorry. All the best. We can talk about it and heal from it. Yeah.
Right. And if we can't talk about it or heal from it, then let's just keep our distance from each other.
Yeah, but don't let people keep you bogged down in guilt and shame. People love to do that too. As you grow and as you heal as a person, don't let someone use your mistakes as a weapon. Because guess what that is? They're just trying to keep you back in that place. And that's going to hinder you from getting to where you need to be. That's really where you start transforming. When people get mad, when people want to bring up what you did, guess what? That's the past tense. Are you not living in the present? So that means whatever you're doing now is different from what you were doing in the past. And that's a beautiful thing, baby. So keep going forward.
That is so true. People do love to try to bring up your past. You can evolve and you can transform so much. And then it's that one frame.
I tell people all the time, I'm motherfucking Sailor Moon. You don't want to know how many evolutions I've had. And you don't want to know what war with me would be like. Because I'm always winning.
I almost peed on myself. He said, I'm motherfucking Sailor Moon. Listen,
get
for those of you non-anime fans, Sailor Moon had like 50 transformations.
And she just gets better and better and better and finer and sexier and better, and the outfits get fiercer, and she just gets more sparkly. That's me.
And the girl's the original twirl.
The original.
The original. Yeah. I love that. I love that. So you took this, you made a podcast. What is your love life like now? How are you applying the principles you learned from when you were a fuckboy to creating a healthy relationship now with your current boyfriend?
Oh my gosh. That means having the hard conversations. That means, okay, a lot of times as a fuckboy, as a person in a relationship, you'll see somebody move different, you see somebody do something maybe you don't like. Or a lot of times in relationships, whenever we get out of a fuckboy situation and we start trying to date again, someone will do something that previous person or that fuckboy did that triggers us. And instead of us opening our mouth and saying like, hey, you did this, what was this about? Or, hey, this was a trigger for me. We decide to be quiet. And guess what? Closed mouths don't get fed. So then you sit around and you start shying away or you start backing up. And there was this cool meme talking about how like what dating is now. How like when one person does something and they get triggered, one person backs away. And then guess what it does? It causes the other person to be triggered and maybe back away. And then guess what? Two people backing away are not moving together. You're moving apart. So at some point, you have to hold yourself accountable to what you want. If both of you all have showed up in this situation or in this partnership and have decided that you want to be in it, then you have to have the hard conversations. You also have to be real with yourself. Hey, you did this and this made me feel away. And you can't have any shame in feeling away. If your partner makes you feel ashamed or makes you feel bad for sharing your feelings or sharing what bothered you or made you feel away, whether it's right or wrong, whether you saw something in it and whether it's true or not, that's not the issue. What's bonding you is the honesty, the transparency. You creating the space to share, hey, this happened to me. This also happened to me in the past. You have to also give people context so that they can have, the right foundation to navigate that conversation with you. Because guess what? Then you can be like moving forward. Hey, next time you do this, could you maybe, communicate that with me? Like me, I'm a communicator. If you're going a day without talking to me, we don't need to talk anymore. Or like, or you need to let me know from jump, hey, this is your communication style. So in my current relationship, communication is a huge part of it. Transparency about who I am, what I've done, my mistakes. So you can be aware, because I don't want you walking in the room and then someone else gossiping about you or gossiping about me and talking about you and you don't have any context. That's doing your partner a disservice. They should know. No one should know anything about you that person doesn't know. If you're really going to be an honest person, you want to be in an honest relationship. Now, a lot of people say they want to be honest, but you want to be circumstantially honest.
Right. You don't get it.
You want to be perceptively honest. Right. You want to share the perception, the person that you have created, that you have molded. You'll be as honest as that version of yourself will be. Well, you have to be honest about all the versions of yourself, past, present, and future.
bad,
And you have to
gluten,
be with
see all
someone,
that.
and you don't want to be with somebody that doesn't accept you for the mistakes you made. If you
Mm.
done did some foul shit, and then when they find out, they leave you, guess what? You've also deceived them because you've taken that choice away from them. And that's also a lie. And you still are not where you need to be, baby. You need to be single.
Justin Rayne, everybody. Because that, wow. I mean, you said so much. So
Hey,
much.
Ty.
No, I mean, no, you definitely said so much. So, what would you say are some, if you are a fuckboy and you don't know it, say hello, Michael. Hi, Ty. If you are a fuckboy, if say somebody's watching this and they're a fuckboy and they don't know, what are some signs that they should check about themselves to kind of
Are you
identify?
giving people, if you already have a pitch or a story about yourself, whenever you meet a new person, you may need to look in the mirror. As soon as you meet somebody, if you're like, hey, I'm so and so, I've been through this, if you already have this backstory about, hey, how your relationship ended, all these stories about your exes, about how each one of them, it was an issue, and how each one of them, it was their fault, and it's already kind of like, it sounds like the perfect story, and you're like, damn. Like they just got it all written out, like just like they just roll it out. It just rolls off their tongue. You're like, what happened? And it just comes out that easy. You may need to, you may need to reevaluate. Hey, Carlos. Um, but yeah, I think if you're sitting around and someone asks you a question and you have to think and decide how you want to present this, or if you're always reframing how situations happen, how relationships ended, if you're not presenting yourself in full transparency on both sides or presenting situations on both sides, when someone asks you like, hey, what do you do for work? If you got to sit around here and like kind of like jig it and add a little sugar to your grits and some salt and stuff, then baby, you might want to look in the mirror today.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you can't
Honestly,
just be real with yourself about the questions whenever prompted, then that means you're not even accepting yourself in totality.
I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. Whew. There's so much.
Triggered? Don't be triggered now.
No, I mean people say they trigger. It's triggering for
Don't
me
be
like
triggered, you guys.
because of what
And
we're
being
talking about
triggered
is
is a moment to take. Also, take note of when you're triggered, because you'll be like, "Hey, I didn't like how that felt." Revisit that moment on your own when you have free time, maybe when you're in a better emotional place. Because I'm not gonna also encourage you to go somewhere when you're triggered and you're already depressed. That would not be a smart move. But
no
no, go back, revisit that place when you're maybe in a more stable place, and be like, "Hey, okay, this bothered me. Let me try to work on this. So next time, every time when this comes up, or when I'm encountered with this in the future, you can work past why that's bothering you." You want to get to the root, because once you get to the root, then no longer it has power over you. You want to have power over yourself. People talk about all the time, oh, I hate when I don't have control over my emotions. This person affects me emotionally, or this thing bothers me emotionally, and I can't control how I react. You have not dealt with it and addressed it.
right.
Go back to that place. Sit in that place with that trigger. Be aware of it, and also communicate your triggers. You have to set people up for success if you're gonna have people in your life.
B Hawk Snipe says, "Love this black folk doing the work." Absolutely, yeah, because that's
I
true.
love them. B Hawk will be on season 3 of Fuckboy Problems. So
Really,
definitely, yes. The
man.
lineup this season is good. It's good.
Listen, it's all about the lineup sometimes. Definitely, because when
No, no. Amazing stories. Amazing stories.
do I want to it's definitely telling the story. It's so much help out here for people, but I don't think people realize exactly where they can go or where it needs to be. So I feel like it should be given out freely. And
Mm-hmm.
it's no reason where if you're in the process of healing, you can't give somebody the resources to still heal. So they can get
Mm-hmm.
to where you are, succeed you, or even just start the process. The longest journey begin with a single step. Somebody watching this right now is dealing with a fuckboy, or they are a fuckboy, or they're in danger of or they're friends with one. Now my thing is, like I tell people when it comes to the situation of fuckboys, it's accountability all around. If you know your friend is a fuckboy and you see that they are actively damaging people, you have the moral responsibility to say, "Hey, friend, cut that shit out."
Oh yeah. I call my friends all the time in the group chat. I'm like, now wait a second. I just told my friend the other day, we were on the phone, and my friend was like, I'm done with apps. They said that we were going out to go grab a cocktail. And then the next thing you know, the next morning, they were talking about they were on Jack talking to somebody. We were all on the phone on 3 in the morning. And I was like, now wait a second, friend. Didn't you
Jesus,
say you were
man.
off the apps last night at 11? Oh no,
Right.
ma'am. Oh no, ma'am.
Oh,
Like, but that's, and that's your friend's choice whether they want to continue or not. But what you're doing, you can make a cute joke. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be ugly. You don't have to shade about it. But you can also be like, hey, yo, you said you wanted this for yourself. Yo, you said you want to walk like this. Yo, this doesn't honor you. I'm just trying to help you out. If that's really a friend. Now, if you can't say that to your friend, that may not be a friend.
that's true. I always tell people, I
That may
said,
be an associate.
Look, yeah, it's all in delivery. And if you can't accept it, and like you said, maybe y'all aren't. It's for me, it's just all about accountability. I tell people all the time, especially men, normalize holding other men accountable when they fuck up. Let's do that. Let's do that. It's so many different situations where I see guys messing up, and nobody thinks to sit there and say, "Hey, this is wrong. This isn't right. Let's try this together. Let's try a different way." Everybody wants to say, "Oh, it's not my business. It's not my problem." And I tell people all the time, and I've said this on this show before, it's always somebody else's problem until it's your turn.
And fucking up does not equal failure.
Right.
Failure does not mean that you cannot get back up. Okay, like, do you think like the iPhone was made on its first pass? Baby, it's called iterations. That's why I'm wrong. What number iPhone? Because the first one wasn't good enough. You got to keep improving, keep evolving. So you also got to deal with and accept the idea that rejection, fucking up, all these things do not equal failure and the end of the world. You have to learn how to forgive yourself, pick yourself back up, and move forward. Or just don't live then, because that's not living. If you're gonna sit in this place of shame and squalor and guilt about your choices and your mistakes.
You try to make me cry because you just.
That's why repentance why repentance, all this stuff was created.
That's something that I've had a very hard time doing. People don't know this, but I am the biggest critic of myself. Nothing any of you can say or do will surpass anything that I've said or done to myself. And I'm like, why would you do this? You're so stupid. This is your fault. And I would say the worst things to myself in my head. And I've been in the process of having to forgive myself for the or people that I allowed in the space. And like even with the fuckboy situation I talked with you about, I said, don't ever get used to someone disrespecting you. Like never. And that's what I had gotten used to. I had gotten used to them being disrespectful. And it wasn't so much outright, because outright disrespect, y'all, it makes me violent. I'm just gonna be real. It was subtle shade. And so shade is a form of disrespect. I don't give a fuck how you say it. Okay? Y'all can try to be aggressive about it. Shade is a form of bullying and it's disrespectful. Period. Let me just tell you that. Even if you put no.
You playing around somebody, you disrespect somebody, you talking about what somebody got on. I mean, playful banter is different, but it's like if a person takes the time to disrespect you or shade you in front of a room full of people, if every time somebody's talking about you or shading you in front of people, then maybe they actually really want to make you look bad, baby. And that's no longer a friend. That's not a friend. That's not
okay. That's not a friend. That's not someone that cares about you. And you're in a situation letting them subtly say things to me, making me feel a certain type of way. And because my self-esteem was already so low, and I was like, I really want this to work. I'm the person, I'm constantly trying to date. I'm constantly trying to do this. And in all these situations, I'm the common denominator. So it's got to be on me. It's got to be on me. But then I thought about it. I said, you know what? Before you love yourself with low self-esteem and depression, make sure, in fact, everyone surrounding you is not a complete asshole. And I had to take inventory of the so-called friendships, acquaintances, coworkers, family, friends that was around me. And I was like, I have to cut loose. I have got to find my place in a space, in a safe space of understanding where I can heal and I can grow, because I was never, ever going to heal in the place that was making me sick in the first place.
You also have to remove yourself sometimes from all those spaces and start from square one. And square one is one-on-one with yourself, like I said.
So a lot of people don't take accountability because they normally feel attacked. But that's the thing we just said earlier. Accountability feels like an attack when you're not ready to take responsibility for the hurt or pain you caused another person's life. When you're ready to, accountability won't feel that way. I mean,
if you're starting from a place of defense, you can't receive anything, baby. You have a wall of what's a defense? You have a wall. Like in war, a defense is what a shield. So you're not even ready to receive. You can't even get hit. So if you want to receive something, if you want to be accountable, you have to, one, create a space for you to receive what's been said. And also for the people delivering whatever message, you have to be responsible and have some integrity about how you deliver it.
I agree. Y'all have some integrity, tact, couth. Don't try to address a situation with a friend that's a one-on-one situation at a table full of people.
This is not Real Housewives. Everyone wants to do stuff like it's a reality show, like it's Basketball Wives. And I understand all that stuff is fun and games, but your life is not fun, nor is it a game. Your feelings are not fun, nor is it a game. And when you start walking through your friendships and living your friendships like it's a reality show, then you get reality show situations. And when you want to live in the real world instead of a TV show, you'll get real experiences. And I'm sorry, I don't need Nene in my life. like Nene's fun to watch. I love Evelyn Lozada, but you know, like I don't need an Evelyn Lozada as a best friend. Like I don't need you throwing drinks in my face. Like
Yeah,
no, that's not a friend. We're not doing stunts and shows. There's no camera crew around, baby.
right. Because the thing about it is, nothing about this situation between me and you is about to be edited out. This is
Yeah.
reality between us. Ain't no do-overs. Ain't no rewinds. Ain't no maybe we can say this differently. Or maybe y'all can try this. Or let's sit over here. No. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened.
And what I also want to be clear with is love has limits. You made a statement earlier about, you know, I really wanted this to work. I really wanted to do this. You have to also understand, okay, at what point for yourself, know your own limits. At what point does this not honor me anymore and the goals that I set for myself or the things that I wanted for myself? You have to be real with that as well. Because if you're like, hey, this hurt, or hey, you said this, bring it to the person. You said
Yeah.
this, I didn't like this, it hurt me. Take note of your partner, whoever you're dealing with, their response when you come to them with these situations. If a person's not receptive, if they're trying to put it back on you, if they can't create the space for you all to navigate it, then guess what? You all also are not in the same place to be together. I know y'all don't like this little statement, but equally yoked is a real deal. We don't have to have the Bible attached to it, but you could just like, hey, we are not on the same level. That's also another way to put it.
So when we say the same level, are we talking about materially?
No, I mean like emotion. I mean all those things are all those things are factors. You know, everybody has different rules of engagement as far as like where your expectations or your limits are. Some people, you know, I need you to financially be above me or on my same level or whatever. But when I speak about being equally, I was speaking more so about your emotional intelligence and your emotional maturity. Because if you all are not on the same place in terms of that, then you guys can't even navigate communication. You know, I was talking to a friend and he was talking about someone he's dating, their emotional intelligence, the way they were able to converse and navigate these conversations and with sensitivity, sensitive situations. You know, like, hey, my feelings are hurt. Oh, yo, you said that. And I didn't really think that we were in that place. And I thought we were on a different page. But because you all had the emotional maturity and the language to be able to communicate those things, you were able to navigate it, you know, in a healthy way. And your feelings can be hurt and you don't have to disrespect someone. That's another thing. You can be upset with what someone said. Your feelings can be hurt, but you don't have to attack. And you don't have to lash out now because you don't like what you heard. Because guess who does that when they don't like what their children? You say, I just came out children.
Children. Oh. Or as I like to call it, the teenage texting where you upset with me so out the blue. You send me an ambushing text about how you pissed about something.
Well, you know, there's a great place to handle that.
Right.
It's journal. You can tweet it on Twitter. You can just throw it into that black hole called Twitter. You better hope somebody don't dig your tweets up if you become famous. But yeah, there are tons of different outlets. If you need to lash out, you have the gym, you have boxing bags, you have your penis or your other body parts. If you want to beat them, all these things are ways to release and get those endorphins and get that frustration out. But don't use other people's punching bags.
Don't use other people's punching bags, and don't choose lazy forms of communication, as I was saying before, like texting.
Oh yeah, don't you try to talk about nothing serious via text.
Conversation with people over text. If somebody's done something to you and you value them, have a conversation. Hey, you did this, and then I'm sorry, I didn't know I did that. But
that's also avoidant behavior. That means you don't actually want to address the issue. You want to silo that person into a situation where you feel most comfortable, you feel most protected, and you can, try to halfway or piecemeal passive aggressively address your issues without having to fully address it head on. If you cannot go to someone and say directly, hey, you did this verbally, or speak to someone face to face, or verbally on the phone, whatever, texting someone is avoidant behavior about serious issues. You're not going to tell me that. Honestly, send me an email. I honestly would respect them more. And honestly, if the person is out of your life, I have my friends do this exercise all the time. If you need to get something out, write that person a letter and then set it on fire. Or write the email, put in your drafts, and then delete it. But make sure y'all send the email to yourself. Do not put in the to. Put your email address too. So the from and the to should go to you. So you don't mess up. And then you send it to, Jerome or Jasmine, and you're out here looking funny. But also there could be some healing that come from that. Don't text me, Kevin. Don't text me.
But it's true though. Don't text me. I know. Well, that I do know about Kevin. He and I know it.
Kevin said, "Don't text me, baby."
It's disrespectful to have a serious conversation with somebody via text. It's very fuckboyish.
It's limiting as well. Like I said, it's manipulative because you want to control the ways in which you guys can truly address the issue. And can you really address the issue via, like, let's say, like, to me, a text message is just like a tweet as far as like the space and the capacity to share your thought. What, you have 350 characters to share your thought? Like, yes, you can write a paragraph, but don't people start to check out? Just like a book. So you are already setting the ground for you to now manipulate the ways in which we can resolve this effectively. You don't want to resolve it effectively. You want to limit the options in which we can resolve this to manipulate and allow yourself to get the outcome, hopefully, that you'll get. Sometimes, a lot of times, that's fuckboys not really wanting to be accountable. Or, oh, I don't want to feel bad for this thing that I did, so I'm just going to text you and we can kind of address it. And then whenever you don't want to deal with it anymore, you can put your phone down.
Let me ask you a question. Say somebody, let's do some.
Yeah, we can do questions, and people can ask questions in the comments too. Texting is definitely an easy out.
Okay, so here we go. Is this a fuckboy or not? Somebody, I'm sorry, y'all, some mosquito or something. A guy who only wants to have sex. He's told you up front, he only wants a sexual relationship with you. You still catch feelings. He decides to cut you off because you want more. Does that make him a fuckboy?
No, not at all. Okay. You are not being transparent with yourself about what you can or cannot handle. If you went into a situation where a person was transparent with you about what they wanted and what their boundaries were, and then you decided to go in there with your own intentions, you actually are kind of being a fuckboy because you're trying to manipulate them. A lot of times, I've been in situations in the past where I was like, hey, I just want to fuck buddy, or we can just be this. And then, you hang out. And a lot of times, sometimes when people are in hookups, or you in a, friends with benefit situation, you can hang out, have a cocktail, whatever your, rules of engagement are. You all may linger or get to know each other better. And then that person may like you. And then they're like, oh, damn, I didn't caught feelings for this person. Or they're really great. But you don't know where I'm at in my life to where I told you where I don't want this. You don't know if I'm healing. You don't know what's going on, you know? And I told you this was all I wanted. Now you're trying to negotiate and sell me on why we should date. And at this point now, you're trying to manipulate me. You're now trying to push me to do something that does not serve and honor me. I told you from the beginning what I was okay with. So I should remove you from my life because you cannot honor my boundaries. And person who's trying to push for something that, they knew wasn't available, you need to also check yourself and be honest with yourself about what you really want. And if you want to get that, then go after that. Create the space for that. And if it's not working out for you, maybe you need to go look in the mirror, talk to a therapist, do some work to try to get yourself to the place you need to be to attract and be in a healthy situation that you actually want. Because honestly, you're not setting yourself up for success either. You're doing your own self a disservice. You're going to break your own heart, baby. And I could tell you stories about friends and people I know that are broken their own heart. That's literally what you're doing.
He said, breaking your own heart. Okay, next scenario. You're having a conversation with a guy, and he tells you about another guy.
Mission Sean.
Huh?
I was saying hey to Sean. Go ahead, baby. I'm listening.
You have a conversation with you're having a conversation with a guy that you like, and you two seem to be talking and getting to know each other. He tells you about another guy that he likes who might be flying him out on a situation. You call him out and tell him that you don't want to hear him talk about other guys, especially since you like him. Instead of him apologizing, he decides that we just won't talk about things like that anymore. Is he a fuckboy? Should you move on?
I don't think he's a fuckboy still. Okay, so both of you all like each other and you're getting to know each other. Are you guys in a monogamous situation? No, at least not from what you shared. Okay, so they shared, okay, hey, which honestly, I've done this before. When you're dating multiple people in the past or whatever, sometimes you have people get attached faster than you, or they think that it is only an exclusive dating situation. And it can be a little shady to want to share, or you just want to openly communicate. I know some people who openly just communicate about, hey, I'm dating this, or I'm doing this, or hey, I'm going out of town, or you try to make plans with me and I'm like, hey, I may be going out of town, so that weekend doesn't work. I think the issue is you being upset that you don't want to hear that. That's fine. You need to find a better way to articulate that. Like, hey, I just want to focus on us when we're talking or when we're hanging out with each other. That's all you got to do. Keep that short and sweet. And then if you're upset about them, getting to know other people, you have to once again go back to the rules of engagement. Rules of engagement are just like a contract. When you sit down, you have a conversation with people and you're like, hey, what are you looking for? What are you open to? What are your boundaries? Those are the rules of engagement. If on day one you said these were the terms, if at any point you want to change the terms, you need to one, come to them again. You know, you not being able to accept the terms that you agreed upon is whose issue? The person that is upset. And if you don't like that, then you need to honor those feelings and remove yourself and put yourself in a situation to where, yeah, you can have someone's soul attention, because that sounds like you want some exclusivity that this person is not prepared to give you. Or you can, you know, you can play road rules versus, you know, real world, and you can be in that competition and hope that you know, are the girl at the top. You know, you can hope Tyra picks your picture at the end. I have 2 pictures in my hand. You know, I have 1 picture in my hand. One girl will go home. You know, you can hope that you that girl behind the picture. I don't know what to tell you.
I know for me, I'm not the type of person where, I mean, you can be dating multiple people, but like I said, when you're talking to me, I need to feel like I'm the only one that you talking to. That's just for me, because for me, like, if I find this competition, I fall back. I do not connect with nobody's affections. That's just me. Even when you don't, either you like me or you don't. For me, it's kind of like, it's just that simple. And you got the right to date whoever you want to, as long as we're not exclusive. But talking to me about what you're doing with somebody else and you're trying to get at me, or so you allege.
Now, there is a fuckboy tactic, and it's a form of manipulation where a fuckboy will try to trigger you by telling you, hey, there are other people out here that want what you got, and I just want to let you know. And you also have to kind of notice that if a person is going around volunteering information about other people that they're dating out of the blue, and you're like, wait a second, we were just talking about sushi, or we were talking about, you know, Doom Patrol or whatever TV show we were watching. We're talking about Drag Race, and then all of a sudden you're talking about, man, I can't, man, like, this dude asked me, how you think I should go? Look at him, he on Jack. Like, why are you doing this? Because one, you want to now gauge. A lot of times people are trying to gauge how much you like them, and they're afraid to maybe like acknowledge how much they like you, or they just want to see where they stand in your life. Some people want to be chased, and that's great. You can be transparent about that. You know, I want to be courted. That's what that is. Open your mouth.
Let me tell y'all. Y'all want to deal with Justin Rayne, because Michael Jean says blocked.
Not blocked. I mean, it's all about how you do things. It's all about the place you came from. And people, when this happens to you, like I say time and time again, take note of when these things happen. You, like, there's no such thing as a coincidence. If you felt funny, if it made you feel a way, honor that. And even if you can't do it in a moment because you're with the person or whatever, what I've done sometimes, put some in your notes. Be like, hey, they did this, so I felt this way. Or, you know, write it down and then bring it to your therapist. Let them be like, hey, this happened, I'm not so sure. And, or just be like, hey, I really didn't like the way this made me feel, and I'm not necessarily sure I should do this anymore. Or that I really, you know, want to be in this type of situation. And guess what? You got a right to walk away anytime you want to. Are you a slave?
No.
Even if you're married, that's why they made divorce. I'm just saying, you are in charge of your own life, and I'm a firm believer in that. And like I said, I'll say it again, love has limits. Don't let people use love as a weapon.
And that is a good spot to leave this off on. He said, whew. Justin Rayne, you are wiser beyond your years. It has been a
I just did a lot of fucking up, y'all. And I did a lot of learning through that falling on my face. So I just hope you guys, you know, learn a little bit from my mistakes, listen and laugh to other people's, and heal.
Thank you for using your platform and your following to do this type of work, because it's needed.
Oh, and thank you.
More people with platforms will do this type of work, because, again, it's needed. People who look like us, love like us, I feel like, to a degree, and do the work that we do, have a responsibility to give back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you have earned my respect, and that ain't nothing I just give freely. So
I appreciate it. And you know, you got a special place in my heart.
Yeah, you really dope, man. You really dope. I appreciate all the kind things you said to me over the years. I appreciate you, being supportive of stuff. I've seen that stuff you like, you repost, you retweet, and stuff like that. And that does mean a lot. I want you to know that, because I have family and close friends who I couldn't get a post up right now if I needed them to. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So that's something. Every action that anybody ever does for me, I know. I take and I appreciate you. You guys, please make sure y'all are following Justin Rayne, JUSTIN.RAYNE, and make sure you're following his podcast, Fuckboi Problems. Wherever I
Yes, listen, subscribe, all that.
get the merchandise, do all of it. Like, I'm for real, y'all. Like, support, 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 support. Y'all got y'all behinds on the shade room. Y'all got y'all asses over at Ballers Work. You over at Neighborhood Talk. If you can support all this stuff that ain't doing nothing but feeding poison inside of you, you can get your ass in somebody's positive situation and get fed.
And it's good stories. Y'all should listen. It's good
Listen,
episodes. It's great. When I tell you, the format is amazing.
I love the format.
You get a playlist to listen to the entire season so you can heal, huh?
We need to have a meeting where we can do some consultation because I'm
anytime. I'm all about the marketing of it all. Yeah.
I appreciate it so much. All right, y'all. This is another one-on-one with your boy Michael Jonvier. Tonight's topic was dating one-on-one, the fuckboy phenomenon. We hope that this was something that could help somebody, heal somebody, and move somebody to a better place of thinking. One thing I learned from fuckboys is don't ever get used to anyone disrespecting you. Ever. You are worthy. Remember this. Repeat after me. And I say this all the time. I say this to my nieces and nephews. I say this to my son. I even say this to my mother and my father. Whew. You are worthy of more and deserving of better. Never, ever, ever forget that. All right? I hope y'all will tune in tomorrow night when the topic is Business 101, Bossing Up. We have my favorite girl. She's a businesswoman of a lower Fortune 500 company here in Atlanta, Georgia, a native ATLian. Her name is Kendra Lewis. I've known her since I was 12 years old. She's a millionaire. And y'all need to learn what y'all need to do to go from being an entrepreneur who's selling cake on the street to somebody who's living in a skyscraper at the top of the Empire State Building. Let me get y'all into this. Let me show y'all how to make some money. Y'all tune in tomorrow, okay? I done healed your soul. Now let me heal your pockets, all right?
All right, heal the pockets.
Love y'all. See you later, Justin.
Bye, boys.